There's that better. Audio should be good now. Let me add the screens so that I can. Holy crap! Can't have that in. Yeah, let me add the screen so that I can. Whatever the heck that's called. So we can look at the internet again, but this time I've got everything preloaded, saved the computer, so I don't have to try to download it. Yep, audio's off, or was off. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and share. Man, oh, that's what happened here. Sorry, just a little bit of technical difficulties today. I thought I had everything set up perfectly, but apparently not. So today we're gonna be looking at DreamViews. It's kind of like a DreamViews 101, how to navigate DreamViews so that you can find your own techniques and ideas and stuff, which I think will be super helpful for a lot of people. I think most people, they get there, it's an old site, it doesn't work very well, it doesn't load very fast. So I'm going to go ahead and, in the chat, go ahead and drop a very useful link, and we'll talk about a few different links on there. And then we'll review some of the old techniques and ideas that people had. And yeah, because I think that DreamViews has a lot of really cool places, a lot of cool things, but it just really is hard to navigate, and it's old, and it makes it really difficult for a lot of people unless they've already been there. And, so this is a link. I'm posting it in the chat. It basically is just like a mega thread for a lot of different techniques. I think it'll be helpful for people that want to know what different things DreamViews has to offer. It's mainly very utilitarian. Like, most of the links are very specific how-tos. They're not like, you're not going to get very many philosophical dream ideas in there, which I think are really important whenever you're looking at how dreaming works. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and start with an oldie but a goodie. And let me just pull it up. We're going to start looking at Naya Simple Mild, just because, just to start it off, I think obviously Naya Simple Mild is a really good one. Most people don't really, I don't think they understand what Naya Simple Mild is. So we'll talk about it a little bit and what the difference between that and LaBerge's Mild is. So I've got it pulled up right here. Sharing the screen. Man, I'm just so slow with. Okay, share screen. Not this screen. Window. Nope, cropped up. Share. Alrighty. So this should share in a second, I believe. Yeah, so if anybody has anything cool or interesting to share on their like, as far as dreams go, now's the time to share while I'm getting everything set up. We can talk about what cool things you guys do in dreams. All right, so this is DreamViews. Like, a lot of stuff doesn't load, but it has all of the best old techniques and ideas. And so I think it's really important to go and check it out. And one of the things I think that it has that is kind of like underrated is if you look right here, you'll see that there's 133. Hold on, it's not going back up. Let me see. 166 comments, right? So not only if you wanted to learn about Naya's simple mild technique, you can also see what like the people who originally read it asked questions about and what her answers were, and it'll clear a lot of things up, which I think is really important. So I really like the thread format because you can do that. You can see the past, basically. You can see like what people were trying, and you can actually look at those people and see if they succeeded, the ones that seem to understand it. So that's one way that I think DreamViews is super, super duper helpful. Like imagine that you could look back, like one of the things I found whenever I was trying a lot of like checking out all of DreamViews was I found Hukif, because Hukif didn't create that many threads, but he was in a lot of threads and he was asking questions, he was talking to people, and that is one of the things that really helped me to see like, oh wow, like the things that this guy says make a lot more sense than other people. They actually work, and I could see how he was trying to help people and things and then I could look at the people he tried to help and see if they actually stuck around, which is also super helpful. What's up, Sealed Orion? Yeah, I know that. And let's go back to my simple mild technique. Let's check it out. Got some terrible, terrible looking ads on the site, of course, which you guys probably can't see yet. So the first thing that Naya mentions whenever it pulls up, it's loading on my side. I can see it, but you guys can't yet. This thing's falling on me. Don't fall. There we go. Okay, so the first thing is basically saying easiest induction technique. It's hard to answer with different methods. Having said that, I always thought that mild is the perfect method for beginners, right? So very normal. Word about consistency. One of the biggest pitfalls I see is when a person tries one method for a week or two and then decides it's not working. So a week or two is not enough time to even tell if something's not working. They jump from one method to the next and believe that nothing is working for them. It's important to understand that Lucid Dream is a skill. That's something that we've been pushing a lot recently, and this is way back in the day. This is at least 10 years ago. Some people might start out with a talent for it. The rest of us have to build up from being beginners. So switching method would be akin to trying to learn piano one week and the trumpet the next. You never give yourself the chance to master any of them. I think that's really important. Practice and consistency are extremely important, specifically with mild. To get best results, you should be doing it every single night. So then she talks about preparation a little bit. Making an ironclad. Oh yeah, I recommend a little more time. Some people, so let's see, it says here, for starters, you'll need to set aside at least 5 minutes. I recommend 10 to 20 minutes. I always recommend 20 minutes. Before bed, you want at least 20 minutes to calm down, do your techniques, review your dream journal. If you are an absolute beginner, I'd say 30 minutes to an hour would really, really help to just prepare your mind for lucid dreaming. Do some techniques, calm down, journal your day, read your dream journal, just like prepare for the night. That's what we're looking at. As she said, make sure your mind is free of daily worries and nagging thoughts. I think it's really important. It's not brought up a lot. It's a big part of my technique, actually. And let's see. And she talks a little bit about different things that might happen if you take too long to fall asleep. And then she says, if you wake up naturally during the night, it would increase your chance of getting lucid if you repeat the mild when you go back to sleep. If you have the need or want to, you can set an alarm or two to increase your chances. It's not necessary, but it can help a great deal. Don't worry about being consistent in the number of mild attempts per night. It only matters that you do it once per night. I agree with that. That is very important. and it's very important to keep a dream journal. You really need your recall to be up for this. So her method is not the same as LaBerge. LaBerge is you wake up during the night, you use a previous dream, you imagine getting lucid in it, and you go back to sleep. Like, that is LaBerge mild, like one step at a time right there. Like, there's some extra steps or small things here and there, but that is for the most part. This is right before bed, and this is what most people think of mild as, actually. So settle down your mind, use a movie video. You can use a recent dream, and she says use a movie, video game, or book, make up completely imaginary movement environment, and then you don't have to imagine the same thing every time because it might get boring. And then you build up, like she said, if you want to, you can build up your visualization and creative skills. Sorry, I play games. You're only a little late. It's all right. We're just talking about Nice Simple Mild because it's great. So that's it. Like, that's the method, is just imagining yourself getting lucid in different environments before bed or throughout the night. And I would say even throughout the day, it's good to do. And to make sure that you do it once a day, every day for a long period of time, and have good recall. Like, that's it. It's very simple. If you're trying to lucid dream, these are the things I'd recommend, is to make sure that whatever technique you're doing, you want to do it once a day. Yep, Secrets by Sensei. That's me. This talks about using auto-suggestion, a little bit about not using a negative, using a positive, because your mind doesn't work in negatives, which is hard to agree with completely, but I think for the most part, I would recommend following that. Work with positives, because if I say, like, don't think of an elephant, you think of an elephant. That's right there. It shows your mind isn't thinking of not doing a thing. If I say don't think it, do a thing, your mind focuses on that thing and says, I'm not going to do it. And since we're only dealing with the mind, it's different. It's like, it doesn't work the same as it would when in action. So Nice Simple Mild is just imagine a different scene when you do each mild cycle and become lucid. It doesn't have to be a different scene, but you can do a different scene. And it's not each mild cycle. She wants you to do it specifically every night before bed, at least 5 minutes, preferably 10 to 20, and generally to make sure that you don't have the day's worries. Like, the at least 5 minutes is just to keep the habit up, and also to stay consistent. And that's it. Like, it's about consistency more than anything. This is, like, what I would say is, if everything else in my entire life fails, if if one of my parents died today, which sounds terrible, probably not going to happen. They're quite young and healthy. If that happened, I would still do mild for 5 minutes tonight before I go to bed. It is the absolute lowest of the low of what I would do. It is part of my routine, and I recommend it being part of your routine. So, yeah, right here. Typically, I recommend 2 months to give it sufficient time to work. For some, it might take more time. Sooner or later, it will work. It's just that for whatever reason, it takes longer for some people. Good luck and happy lucids. Right? Cool stuff. 2 months is a long time. It's not a long time, though, because I've been lucid dreaming for how many? Almost 120 months. All right, so then then you can look at these things right here, and you can see Solar Fire says, awesome tutorial, really helped me, thanks. And then you actually look through 67 DJ entries. You can actually see they've had quite a few lucid dreams from that. If you look through their DJ. Face on Mars, a lot of lucid dreams. And also recommends visualization. Zebra, a lot of lucid dreams, also recommends it, right? You can look through these things. Now, they didn't put their lucid dreams. I actually know these people. Hobson, LD count 24, right? That's actually not bad. Like, a lot of people struggle to get 24. But they had 24, and they probably weren't active for very long. They weren't active when I joined DreamViews. But they actually had a decent amount for the time that they were there. So you can see that it actually seemed to happen. What if you stopped doing mild for 2 days and had breaks? That's like, what if you tried learned piano for 2 days, and then you stopped? That's the main thing. It's a skill. It's not going to be something that you are able to just jump on and, like, immediately you're amazing at. Now, there are prodigies, like there are in every single thing, but you can't just plan to be a prodigy. That's not how, like, practice and everything works. All right, now I'm gonna pull up the next thing. Man, this takes a bit to load, but thankfully the next things are all preloaded. Just to go on the same same ideas, we're going to go to another thread that helped me a ton, which is Naya's Dialed and Wild Secrets. Hey, secrets. That's the name. That's like the name of this channel. Is that where I got the idea for secrets from? I don't know. Brain's a complicated thing. I gotta wait for this to load. Nope, not settings. Share. So this is a thread that is just tips and tricks and ideas that will help with lucid dreaming. And there's some things in there I don't agree with, and that's okay. It talks about using sleep paralysis, and that is a technique, even though it's not like a great technique. She specifically recommends you try to use it for this. But there are a lot of things in here I think are really super helpful. And talks about expectation. I don't care about expectation. In fact, I don't recommend most people work on expectation, but it's a word a lot of people use and it helps them. It goes over Dreaming 101. And guess what? It's more than one post because it's that long. All these tips and tricks. Tips for remembering. Tips for understanding. Tips for recording, lucidity, dream control, steering, environmental, total control. All of this in one little thing, right? Yes, the thread is old, but the information is good. Having a routine, morning routine, daytime routine, nighttime routine, right? These are helpful things. Now, yes, it is old, and Naya might not even agree with all the things in here, but at some point, she used this. She had thousands of lucid dreams, more than I've had, I think. And she thought these were good tips. So I guess my question is, like, why does something being old, like, immediately? It seems like people start to think that it's less good. But just because not all of it's going to be perfect or not all of it's going to be, like, scientifically sound. She even talks about reality checks. I don't even like reality checks, but it's a good thing. Talks about dream signs. I like dream signs. Look at all of these posts. And then guess what? At the very end, after all of these, dream work, dream control. You got people commenting, and you can see who agrees, who disagrees. I read through this guide every week when I started out 2 years ago. That's good to hear, right? It's a good guide to read through. And I would also recommend reading through, if you got some time, checking out this right here, page 1 of 9. There's 9 pages full of comments and people saying what they think about it. Highly recommend. Obviously, not gonna go through all of that right now. It's a lot to read, but if you have time and you care about lucid dreaming, it might give you a good idea what somebody that's really good at lucid dreaming thinks about lucid dreaming as a whole. And on that note, let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about somebody who is a little, I don't want to say controversial, but I have been known to disagree with him a lot in the past. And it's not who you guys think. And let's look at one of his posts. Just gotta go over there. Boom. Look at this. Oh, okay, it's not loaded yet. Give it a second. I can see it. Lesson 1. Oh man, it's just taking a bit. Come on, I believe in you. There we go. King Yoshi Dream Control Guide. Look at here. King Yoshi has 527 plus lucid dreams. If you look through his DJ entries, he actually writes down the number of every lucid dream, so you know that it's actually pretty close to 527. He had that a long time ago. He had it relatively quickly. He was quite good. He talks about types of dream control: active dream control, passive dream control, and like how some things are kind of a mixture, and how it helps to have both types of dream control in many situations. And then you can look at the people that comment. First few people usually don't have many lucid dreams. Then you can see someone like, let's see, I think Naya posts later on. Yeah, not that many people post, but you can compare it to other dream control guides. I think it's really important. And where I'm finding this, check this out. This is the craziest place ever. This is a dream. Oh, you can't see it yet. There we go. DreamViews Academy archive, which means he's teaching a lesson on dream control. Now there has been, as far as I know, there's been 3 separate dream control classes in the DreamViews Academy. There's been him, there's been Lucid Max, which is one of my teachers, as well as my class on dream control. And if you click the DreamViews Academy archive, right there, you can start seeing what's in there, what different things are in there. There's an entire thing made by Percy Lucid. Percy Lucid, somebody I learned a lot from. Oh man, there's even one. There's a 4th one, Dream Control with Mancon. Mancon, I mean, he had 300 or something lucid dreams. There's a meditation one in the DreamViews Academy archive. So this is one of those things that might be a little difficult for you to find, but it's in here. DreamViews Academy archive. It's got all of these things to teach you how to lucid dream. These things have threads inside of them. This one has 19 threads. You can see what his students said, what advice he told his students. Wild with Raphael. Have you ever even heard of Raphael? Right? Like, these people are, like, they were good enough that they were teaching people, and they had their own ideas. They had their own ways of doing things that worked. Now, they might not be scientifically sound, but I don't care about scientifically sound. I only care about things that work. So if you look at this one, it's pretty cool. I feel like it's going to mainly have some things that you can pull up with, dream recall, basic dream recall, staying motivated, maintaining lucidity. These are things that could help you. And you never know. Like, when you're searching through stuff like this, you may find something that super helps you, and you might find something that doesn't. It's just how it works. I think a lot of these, let's see. So a lot of you guys might be like, well, where do I find these, right? You go to DreamViews, and it is just a barren wasteland for the most part, is what it feels like. Nobody's posting. There's nothing new, and all these old things. Like, what are you going to do? Like, search through the dream thing and then just, like, slide down picture after picture? No, this is how you do it. So you find somebody, right? I found Hukif for this example because everybody knows Hukif. Everybody likes Hukif. So after you click his name, you can click View Profile. And there are a lot of options from here, right here. Find latest posts. Now, Hukif has posted thousands of times, so that's gonna be a lot to dig through. Find latest started threads. Look at that. You click this button, it goes through all of the latest started threads. This means any questions he's had in the past, any techniques, any ideas that he's had in the past will all be sitting here. And after you click it, it takes forever to load. And honestly, even with great internet, I feel like DreamViews is just slow. Look at there. Gravity reality check tutorial. Gravity reality check and how it affects dream recall. The naturality of lucid dreaming. What does that even mean, right? The correct way to use techniques. Look at this one. I actually looked at this one yesterday. Why is DreamViews so dead? There are only like 3 to 4 posts a month because of the internet. The way the internet works, I mean, it keeps moving, keeps evolving, and they also lock the doors anytime someone comes in. You can't mention that other sites exist. And so if the doors are locked, less people are able to come in. They've always been like that. Looky there. This is a post by Hukif. He said, not sure if this goes, but man, move if needed. Let's start with a quote from Sensei. Hey, look, it's me. And so he is just talking a little bit about the correct way to use techniques and what he thinks the correct way to use a technique would be. Like, this is not a technique for getting lucid, but it's relevant, it's important, and I think that it's something that a lot of people could learn from if they look at what these people from the past that lucid dreamed a lot, what they actually think about lucid dreaming. Yeah, he talks about how to basically here adapt techniques and how it's for the mind and how it's for it's not step by step. You have to be able to change things, which is really cool. I highly recommend reading it. Obviously, he's quoting me and going more in depth, which is awesome. And he even calls it technique jail, which I think is a really good word. He says people get stuck in technique jail where they're like, well, I'm doing this technique. I must do this technique exactly step for step. And that's not the point of techniques, right? That in my mind would be like doing like a footwork drill, and then you get in a basketball game or soccer game or whatever, if that's even a game. And then whenever you're in there, you can't do your own steps. You have to follow the steps from the drill. You're like running and you're trying to turn, but it's like, well, in the drill, I only turned left. I didn't turn right. So let me turn left instead. It doesn't work that way, right? It's not a, let's see, there's a word for it. It's like a open sport versus a closed sport or skill, right? Now, an open skill means that there are a lot of things interacting, right? If I learn to play guitar, right? I'm sitting down with the same guitar. I'm sitting down with the same, like it's supposed to be in tune. I've got the notes right in front of me. I'm hopefully sitting in a similar position or standing in a similar position as always. Not a lot's happening. Oh, my ear. Nothing is really changing, right? I'm just going to drink this. Which means most everything can be done by doing very similar things every time. Now, there's still going to be some variance here and there, but it's not the same as something like ping pong or basketball, or even like jazz, right? Which I don't like jazz, but I think it's a good example here. Is that I'm not doing the exact same thing every time. It's not like I can practice this like one piece and I have to focus on it and I get it and I've got it mastered and I can just do that piece over and over and I've got it. When it's done, it's done. It is living, breathing techniques. They need to move. They need to change. Right here, try to break something down in a way that makes sense to you and lose what doesn't make a difference to you. I think it's pretty cool. What's up, Munir Yika? I don't know how to say names in other languages. I'm sorry. So that's how to find like, different posts from people. Just to see like what different posts I have. Because I never posted any techniques. Like that was never my intention. Look here is me. Man, where's that? It takes forever for anything to load. It might just be my internet, but I feel like DreamViews is slow as a rule. So another problem that a lot of people have is some things are closed down on DreamViews. They're old and they expired. You should be able to check out the archive machine for some of these things. All right, so Hukif only had like 20 different latest started threads, but you look at my latest started threads and you can see that I actually started a ton of threads. I just couldn't stop, but I also was kind of like forced to write 4 posts a day or 4 posts, was it a week? No, it was 4 posts a day. I think I had to do 28 posts a week, something insane like that whenever I was a Dream Guide. All right, so right here, you can see how to effectively dream journal. Definitely I'd say one of my most important things. I wrote that 7 months after starting lucid dreaming. Sensei Secrets. I recommend those. An FAQ from multiple lucid dreamers. That one didn't take off much. More rules about my, whatever you call it, my dream world. How to visualize as well as how to incubate. An entire podcast of just things like I think there's like 30-ish episodes of like me talking about lucid dreaming, and that was 8 years ago. Holy crap! Well, almost 8. Something that I thought was a shared dream. That's type of stuff. So you can easily check on the side here. I think this is important. If you check on the side here, you can see general lucid discussion, DreamViews audio, beyond dream. You can skip anything that's not like attaining lucidity or general lucid discussion. This one, I actually really like this one. When I first started lucid dreaming, I wish someone had told me. That's like a little audio podcast thing that talks about all the things I think beginners should start. Lucid encouragement, something to try to help people stay into lucid dreaming. Reality check, how I think reality checks should be done. Sensei's sexy competition. Competition threads are kind of fun, but they might not be super helpful. Lucid challenges are fun. Yeah, whenever you see these things, general lucid discussion, something like the unknown. You'll see this in a lot of different people's plans. Yeah, it's going to, Labak, it is going to last for about 30 more minutes. Yeah, you see this in a lot of different people's things. There will be like a weird name, and it'll be in general lucid discussion. You don't know what it's about. You click it, and it's like almost, it's often like a little dissertation. It's just like, oh, this is something I thought about dreams that I thought was interesting. And it kind of, I think those type of things not only help you understand how dreams work more, but also they help a lot with lucid like encouragement, because you're learning more about dreams in general and dreams that are interesting and what you can do with them. I find it really interesting and helpful. So from here, we can go to a few different things. I'm going to bring up some of the bad of lucid dreaming right here, or of DreamViews right here, because it was an open forum. Anybody could post, and anybody did post. They posted lots of crazy things. So there was actually a lot of techniques similar to this one that I'm going to share here, that are, I cannot tell if they are satire or if they are just a crazy person. And these are the type of things you just want to, you know, obviously you'll look through, you'll see these things, and you just kind of ignore it. Bang your head against the wall, induced lucid dream. Behold. So you basically spend an hour or an hour and a half, yeah, banging your head against the wall. And this will get your brain involved, and you can lucid dream after you go to bed. And he says nothing special. It results in a dialed, right? So, of course, then people say, and brain damage. So super nice. So this kind of goes to show some, like, you know, we posted crazy things back then as well. I don't know if this was joking though. This is Venrix, so maybe. It's hard to remember everybody from back then. Yeah. So from here, we can go to, what do you guys want to go to? You want to look at more dream control? There's some really good dream control threads. Stabilization thread, the one that I use that helped me to get more lucid. DILD. Let's see, what else we got? Persistent realms. Yeah. Actually, King Yoshi has a full guide on every single thing lucid dreaming. Everything. Like, dialed wild, DILD, SSILD, like every single thing you can possibly imagine. It's all there, which is crazy. The one that made you had more LDs. I don't know what that means. So this is something I think a lot of people miss out on with lucid dreaming, is the reason that I have a lot of lucid dreams. It's not because of some technique. And it's like, this sounds super like pretentious, so like hold on until the explanation. But the reason I have a lot of lucid dreams is because I'm me, right? So the things I read, the things I enjoy, the things that I spend time thinking about, the skills that I have, those are what helps me to lucid dream. So it's hard for me to differentiate between reading techniques that I didn't even do, or reading theories about how dreams work that I implemented, or things that I tried and failed, that like maybe those were the things that helped build me up to the dreamer that I am today. Because it's not about, like, it's not a linear path of like, hey, I found a technique and the technique works, and pew. Like this technique built a skill, and then the next technique that I tried, it built that skill. The next technique that I tried, it built a skill, and then I looked at those techniques and I combined them. Let's see. But that being said, I'll pull up the one that has probably given me the most lucid dreams overall. Let's see. Of course, it's not on here, is it? Yeah, it's not. Okay. This one is called How to Effectively Use Techniques. And I'd say this one is one of the most well thought out threads that I've made. Any of the ones that say effectively are ones that I like put my giant stamp of approval on, and I'm like, yes, I really think that this is an important way to do things. So let's go ahead and pull this up. share the screen. So we got about 5 minutes while this screen loads. It'll take like 30 seconds. Just give it a second. Oh, no. Share. That might take 5 minutes if I click the wrong buttons. Chrome tab. Boom. Share. Well, looky here. So, how to effectively use techniques. That'll be loading. It's almost loaded. There we go. So, talk about how to use techniques, daytime techniques, nighttime preparations, and nighttime techniques, right? It's okay, Bojan. I still don't know who you are on Discord. Anyways, it says here, techniques are to get you to the feeling. And if you have the feeling, the techniques are often not needed and can sometimes be harmful. I think a lot of people have this feeling, they're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to lose stream tonight. And then they just kind of keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Every time you wake through the night, you are closer to REM than you would have been otherwise. This is kind of my ideas of why wake-wake beds are so important. And REM is your most likely time to get lucid. So let's, like, obviously, I think NREM dreams are a thing. But for the most part, most people are going to need to aim at REM, which is, for the most part, your most active REM is going to be, like, your most time in REM is going to be past 4 or 5 hours of sleep at night. So, but if you wake during the night, you're going to be closer to REM than you would have been had you not woken up after 4 hours of sleep, right? Your technique was 4 hours away. And so it says here, the most important thing to do during the night is to bring the feeling back. And if you wake up from a lucid dream and you still have the feeling, maybe write down a dream or two, but go back to sleep immediately so that you can go back to more lucid dreams. And if you wake up from a lucid dream for more than a minute, then make sure to grasp the feeling, but not the feeling from before, but the feeling of the previous dream. And then I talk about why a good sleep schedule is important. Why I think everything that we do for lucid dreaming is meditation, or a form of meditation. Even lucid dreaming is a form of meditation in my head. Stress is a problem. Insomnia is a problem. And something I've forgotten time and time again. And either always I'm like, sure, oh yeah, that's just weird. And I say here, techniques are not a bad thing. People really go harsh on techniques. They say, oh yeah, you need to not use techniques, brah. Just do these 3 steps. And I'm like, that's a technique. Like you've got to use techniques to build skills. Even just finding the feeling is a technique. So I say here, techniques are needed, especially at first, but they are not the goal. They are the bow that gets you to the goal. Most people see techniques as things that they need to do every day, but they aren't. They are like drills, and maybe something that you need every day at first. When you have the fundamentals down, you may just need to brush up on them every week. However, you score every night, and to keep getting better and better, you need to try almost every night. And of course, talk about how amazing dream journaling is, and that's it. And if you look and see who posted on the thing, Windhover. Windhover had a ton of lucid dreams. Very good, active lucid dreamer. Let's see. Continue down. Frying Man. Some rando. And Mugwort. So rando. Kiri. Rando. Fogelbeast. 1,000 lucid dreams, right? And if you look and see what they say about it, you can see like a discussion happening about what they think in there, clearing up different things, and understanding things about Rothgar. Plus 400 plus lucid dreams. Vagal Tome's been weekly for years. 3Cat, also like 1,000 lucid dreams. So you can look and see these different things that people talk about and what they think about with lucid dreams. Let's see. What was the other person? Stabilization and persistent realms. Okay, let me pull up stabilization. Not stabilization fundamentals. Let me see if I can find her. So we'll look up stabilization and a persistent realm thread. Now, a lot of people in different areas of the internet right now are anti-stabilization, or they are anti the idea that stabilization exists. I do think stabilization exists as long as we can create as long as we are able to create destabilization. Stabilization exists, right? It exists as long as you deal with it. I consider stabilization to be dream control for the most part. So what we're looking at here is my tutorial. Ignore all that stuff. My tutorial for extending lucid dream time, hours and hours of lucid dream. Common techniques. Be sure to keep the light from entering your room as much as possible using curtains and a blindfold and things like that, because this may lead you to, all right, I'll be up there in a minute. Because this may lead you to waking up because of the light entering your room and things like that. Might mean you're not as fully asleep as you want to be. Keep the sounds around you to a low roar. Remove all possible sounds that you can from your surroundings. Try to keep smells. Lock animals out. Take off watches, wristband, necklaces, right? Things like this, not bad advice. Things that'll make you more focused on waking life. And then it says, upon entering a lucid dream, take a good look around you, all the bright, vivid detail, take in the full sight of everything. The more you look around the detail, the brighter and more vivid it will become. Now, I said before that I think stabilization is dream control. So most stabilization techniques are actually going to be what most people would call good schema. The more you look around, the brighter and more vivid things go. That's a great schema to have. Listen to the sounds around you, really taking in and all the different sounds you hear. If you heard none at first, you were listening with the wrong ears, the ones in bed. The more you listen to the sounds and look around you, the more sounds will correspond with the things you see, right? That actually, I wouldn't even say is schema. Obviously, the more you focus on the things around you, the more you're going to hear the things around you. Take a nice slow whiff, smell everything. Now walk around, feel how amazing everything feels, and rub your hands together. Feel the sensation of what that feels like. Rubbing hands was what I used for hundreds and hundreds of lucid dreams to stabilize my dreams. And you might be like, Sensei, stabilization's a myth. You don't need to stabilize. But what if I have already created some schema that says I'm lucid and I'm going to wake up? Then my options are to either just be like, no, it's not. It's not going to wake me up. Which, go ahead and try to work with that. Go for it. Good luck. Yeah, let me know how it works. Or maybe instead of trying to focus on the bad or trying to not focus on the bad, focus on something good. Hey, rubbing my hands together keeps me in a dream. Easy. Pushing this button keeps me in a dream. Easy. Obviously, there are some that will limit you eventually, right? Like if you think rubbing your hands together keeps you in a dream, then maybe you end up having to rub your hands together all the time, and it can really kind of hurt you because you want to use your hands for things. So maybe grow extra hands. Go to the bathroom, Uriah. Still potty training with a 3-year-old, so. Now these things are interesting. Do not think about your waking life body being in bed. Do not lie down or put yourself in a position of sleeping. Don't ever think about sound, sights, or any of senses. Just run around doing whatever you want and forget paying attention to these things. Kind of funny. No, that actually is like contrary to what it said before. But let's look at the first one. Don't think about your waking body. Now, this is not bad advice. Now, I would say it's advice, not that it's like I do not do this thing. All right, I will be right back. I got to deal with this kid. Sorry about that. All right. So, not thinking about your waking life body, but not telling people not to think about your waking life body. It's exactly like telling them not to think about the elephant. But also, thinking about your waking life body in bed is kind of activating the feeling, the idea of what your body might feel like. It can make you think more about your body. It can cause false awakenings. Remember, I said can, not that it will. I went through the list of all the things people tell you not to do or you'll wake up, and I did them in a dream so that I can prove that I could do them. So none of the things inherently will, but some of them do bring you closer to the schema of waking up, and this makes sense to me. Yeah. So let's look at. So that's what I'd say about stabilization. Is you can use that. That one's a good guide for it. Remember, it's just a guide. It's not telling you exactly what you're going to need to do forever. Now let's look at persistent realms. Everybody's favorite. Okay, this is much faster, though still kind of slow. All right. Persistent realms and other techniques I use. Now this is from Hugh. Hugh is the person, I think they coined the term persistent realm, but they brought this guide up. Give it a second to get right. All right. Persistence. When you enter a realm, you resume the dream where you left off last time, more or less. We say more or less because there will be changes sometimes, and it's easier to often say that a day or two has passed to make up for these changes. It makes the deception of a realm or place existing easier to accept. What's up, Uriah? What's up? Nope, not right now. You can show me later, okay? You can show me later, okay? I know, you'll have to show me later. I'll talk to you later. It says here, consequences. Because of the persistence, every action you take has consequences. If you change something, it will remain changed forever. Right? You break something and it's broken. Unless, of course, you can change the dream, like unless you can fix it within the rules of the dream. That's what persistence means. People remember you and the conversations you had with them. Laws and dream powers. A realm has a set of laws of physics fitting the settings of the realm, which may be different from waking life. There may be ways to cast magic, for example. You can learn, understand, use, and abuse these laws, but you can never do anything that violates them, such as using dream powers. If a character does something ridiculous, that means that there's a law enabling him to do so, and you most likely can learn to do the same thing. These dreams feel pretty dang real. I assume the main reason behind it, being besides technique I use, is that the dream characters are intelligent. You won't encounter the typical derpy dream character who seems completely lost. Dream characters are intelligent and follow their own agenda. Their actions can be completely unexpected. This is all common things that we say about persistent realms. This is what most people experience when we go to them. This is one of the ways, I'd say my favorite way of creating a persistent realm. He says here, took me some time to come up with an idea. As I mentioned, it's not really a technique. It's more of a state of mind kind of thing. It's difficult with an explanation. I guess the best way to explain it is fully elaborating on my train of thoughts. That means a lot of text. We're only going to skip to this. Let's see. The point is that it works. So, for example, you want to summon an item in Lucid Dream. You need a key to unlock a door. What you do, I'll just search my pockets. The key won't disappear because I know it won't disappear. The realm of Terra Luna, which is where his persistent realm is persistent because I know it's persistent. He actually works a lot on belief. Now, I work on acceptance, which I think is a little different than belief, because I can believe, or I can accept that something is happening, even though I don't accept that it's real or actually believe it. I can't have two different beliefs that contradict each other, but I can accept two different things that contradict each other. Expectations in my mind are born from your acceptance, not born from expectations themselves. So trying to tell people to change their expectations unless they already know how to do that is kind of useless. So you tell them to change their perception, right? Like if I want to stand on the ceiling, there's a few different ways I can do it. I can just say, oh, hey, that ceiling is a floor, and I can like step onto it. That's changing my perception. Oh, it's changing my expectation because now I expect that I can stand on the ceiling. That's how it works. But it's more of changing my perception, right? I can stand on the ceiling because it's a dream. That's my perception. And it changes my expectations. I'd say that expectations change with your perception. But you can also say things like, I can stand on the ceiling because I can stand on the ceiling because that's the floor. And then you could also say the floor is lava and look up at the actual floor, and that floor is lava while the ceiling's not. You accept two different things as being the same thing. And now that's not belief, that's acceptance. You accept two different things. Hughes PR guys, what got me really interested in the streaming, it opens your mind so hard, felt like googly eyed kid reading that. Yeah. His PR guide was really good. He talks about one thing I thought that kind of like stuck for me was that he would just teleport and see what happened. And I love that idea. He would teleport, and wherever he's at, if it feels realistic, if it's something that he feels like he can accept, he talks about himself being like in a spaceport and like people asking him what he's like, they're like, hey, you need to go through customs, where's your ID? And so he's like looking through his his pockets trying to find his ID, and he's figuring things out about the dream world. He's figuring things out about himself in the dream world. It's so cool. Yeah. So he talks a lot about dream control. I don't remember him talking that much about how dream controls work. Orientation. See, this would be what I'd say is perception, right? I like that. But I love this. Check your pockets. It makes no sense for you to be anywhere with empty pockets. Now, I understand that a lot, especially girls, don't have pockets very often, but then check your bag if you have a bag. Or if you're a dude that carries a bag, check your bag. Or if you're a girl that has pockets, check your pockets. But for the most part, I mean, do you ever go outside of your house without like a few things that you'll need? You know, like I have keys, wallet, phone, and headphones all the time. So I like that. Oh yeah, this is him talking about that. Passport, some kind of crystal, a small package with another credit card looking thing attached to it. So he starts learning about the dream world while he's there. And it's like, it's less like he's dreaming and more like he's isekai'd, you know? Isekai'd. It's hard because I threw the ED at the end there. All right. So that's pretty cool. Billy Bob has a bunch of stuff for control. I don't know if you guys know Billy Bob. He has a lot of stuff for everything. If you're wanting to find like a one-stop shop for everything lucid dreaming and a lot of the ways that we think about lucid dreaming now, Billy Bob is actually your man. He's got a lot of stuff. Talks about how to use anchor for wild, how to use schema for control, right? And his idea, what is it? Our subconscious dream cause angels, demons, for the soul person, limiting self, whenever imagination go wild, ignorant, making up insane fantasies and canons where none should exist. Why must we limit ourselves to this incredible world? I love it. He talks about dream formation, lucid dream formation, and dream control. Dream formation, like you don't hear people talk about these things. He talks about whenever you're wilding and you see like a grayish outline, instead of it, like your mind is like, oh, hey, that grayish outline looks like a boulder. And so that boulder must be in a mountain. Mountains have sheep. There's sheep all around you. Sheep need a shepherd. And then all of a sudden, eventually, hey, you're surrounded by like an entire scene. And that's a lot of times how dreams form for people. Or I would say a lot of times, this is how dreams change when you're in them. You're in a dream and you see something and you kind of lose track. Like you can't focus on like a billion things, right? So you'll be like, you know, I mentioned this example yesterday, but you'll be like in a ship and you're like surrounded by pirates and stuff like that. You open a door and you're in your room and all of a sudden you're like, man, I got to get to work. And you step out the same door and you jump in your car and drive away, you know, because you're accepting different realities everywhere you go and you lose track of certain ones. Now, I would be surprised if when you're driving in your car, there's like a fish or something like that, like some leftover that remembers exactly what was just there a few minutes ago. But I mean, things just change so quickly in dreams sometimes. They don't do that in persistent realms, which is one of the reasons why persistent realms are so amazing. You're not going to see random things like that in there. People will act consistent, which is so cool. He's got another one on control. I've got 4 threads on control, 3. Yeah. I love it. I love control. I'm actually going to pull up my dream control thread and we'll talk about that. Somebody asked about time dilation. I think this one would be the one where we could talk about it. We're coming to the end. If anybody has any questions on how to deal with DreamViews, like because it's an insane site, then let me know. Or if you have any things you want to know about dream control or lucid dreaming in general. Now, this is super annoying. If you look right here, you can, it's like dark. It'll lighten up here in a second. There we go. All right, look at here. Two main categories, active and passive. Hey, that's the same thing. That's the exact same thing as what's his name? King Yoshi said. I don't know if I got this from King Yoshi. I don't even remember if this was before or after the King Yoshi guide. I should check that out. Actually, it's right here. Hold up. Oh, no, that's Billy Bob. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, so I talk about different ways to actively and passively use different forms of dream control, like universe control, right? Right here. I used fire for all of these because I thought it'd be a good idea to explain the different ways you can use the exact same ability, right? I show a picture of the avatar. I'm going to say I want to go to Aang and have him teach me, basically. He has 5 different powers: fire, air, water, earth, and spirit. So it'd be a good idea to continue visiting for different elements and a good meditation session. You can ask active, I can summon Aang or just teleport to him. Then I can just have him teach me and follow his command. Passive. Passive can be done in many ways. You really want to lock down your strengths for this. For instance, obviously you need to teleport to or summon him. When you get to him, have him use fire. Then you can possess him. If you possess this ability, then you will already be controlling it via the possession, or have him possess you and control fire with your body. The first one's easier if you can do it. The second one relies more on your dream character. Item control. I love item control. Yeah. Also passive, but can be active if need be, or you can start out as active and move to passive, or vice versa. These are Tsuna's gloves from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. And you put them on, and you put energy in them, and they create fire for the most part. Looky there. Mustang's glove. You snap, and they create fire, right? At what point? Now, so like that one right there specifically, is that active or passive, right? Like you snap, and it creates fire. It's the gloves doing it, but it's you doing it. Yes. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. I apparently just suck at everything. Anyways, not everything, but just technology in general. I'm gonna turn this off for 1 second, and then I'll make sure that it doesn't happen again. All right, I'm back. All right. Shift control. I love this one, actually. Basically, let's say you're good at something like controlling water, right? I can control water. And then there's 2 major ways. One is passive, the other one's active, of course. Depending on your ability to control water, you would want to use it to control water and make it look like a flame. And then you look away and say something like, I'm controlling flames, and it should be changed. Or you could shift it into water, fire, a mixture of the 2, and forget the water. 1, 2, 3 to 1, 3 method. Why did I put that? Anyways, the idea would be like 2 being the things that connect 1 and 3. And then later on you switch it. Keep in mind that if you move further away or squint, it can make it easier to change it. That's actually one of my secrets from my channel. And I wrote this in 2015. Passive. Now this is passive when it comes to fire, but I don't know how it would work with your way of controlling something like water. The fire portion is passive, the water portion just depends on you. Okay, start with water, but instead of water, you're controlling fuel. Anything that burns, obviously liquid, if you're a waterbender. I think this is obvious, but use something like a lighter or a candle while controlling something that's liquid and set on fire. Keep controlling as it burns, and it should be able to switch 100% into fire control. Hey, looky there, passive. The most passive of passive controls is walk control, which means you just do it without thinking about how you're doing it, which is like if you're going to fly somewhere, you just go there. You don't think about the fact that you're flying there. You're just like whenever you walk to the fridge to get a drink, you don't even think about opening the fridge. You don't even think about grabbing the thing. You just go get a drink, and everything that happens in between is already super ingrained into your habits. Memory control, programming things. This right here, actually, I don't think this link still works, but it has a bunch of pages from Siren that talk about program control and how you can program things in your dream to do things, and then you let them be, and they will continue to do that forever. I mean, you could literally just like program a flashing light above your dream bed that goes off every time you have a false awakening. Just, you can program that. Now, it might not work forever because your dream control isn't great, but it can. Does the brain have some different parts active when we are in a persistent realm rather than normal lucid? No, not that I know of. Let's see. It's all about, like I mentioned before, it's about what you accept, right? So if I accept that I'm in a dream, and I think the world is going to be dreamlike, it'll adhere to all the ideas and schema of a dream. But if I think I'm in a world universe, it'll adhere closely. Obviously not perfectly. Like, I don't want people going around thinking that persistent realm is always going to have every single bit perfect and magnificent, and there's not going to be some small inconsistencies here and there. That can happen. It doesn't happen very often, and I don't notice it very much anymore. But especially at the beginning, you kind of have to ignore things like that. Or every time something like that happens, you make up your own reasons for why it happened, and then it becomes part of the lore of the world. And so when you're in a persistent realm, right? So I said before, it is expectation, because it's the perception that you accept changes your expectation of everything. Didn't mean to bump that. So I accept the perception that the world around me is a dream, and it behaves dreamlike. I accept the perception of the world around me as a dream and all making in my head, and all of a sudden all the dream characters act weird and different and like have weird answers. If I think, hey, I'm in world universe, then all the dream characters are going to act like they're in world universe, right? That makes a lot of sense to me. And of course, since it makes sense to me, that's how it works in my head in a dream. And then, of course, we got people asking about it. I really like program control. I would recommend, if you guys are looking for a good manga to read, then check out Psyren, Psyren. It talks a lot about dream control, and I'd say it is one of the most, it's probably been the most help for me as far as any anime has been or manga has been for teaching me how to use different controls. So yeah, definitely give that a check. Check it out. Yeah, I've got 2 more on dream control. I don't think I'm going to go through. Yeah. Yes, I can, real fast. So this one is, it's not a, it's complete. It's a little older, and it's not in, oh man, I don't know what to call it. It is, I think it's isekai, but it's like kind of half. But the Psi is for psychic. There's a lot of psychic stuff in it. But the way that the characters use their abilities is a lot in conjunction with lucid dreaming. I love it. Specifically, program control, barriers, energy control, energy manipulation, all that type of stuff is super helpful. Yeah. So that is most of the stuff. There is one more thing I want to check out with DreamViews, just to say we did it, because it is actually a part of DreamViews that I learned stuff from. Even if it doesn't have the best stuff, it has some good stuff though. Like, you'd have to scroll through it a bit to find the best stuff. But that's how all of it's going to be, right? This is like, whenever I started lucid dreaming, I wanted like so much to really like, I wanted to intake as much lucid dreaming stuff as possible. So I was reading through everything. I wish I would have read more books, but wiki, but I didn't. Did not read more books. I'm not signed in, of course. Looky here. DreamViews dictionary, DreamViews manuals, DreamViews tutorials, DreamViews, what was that? Rules, DreamViews user tutorials, and user articles. Don't know what the difference between user tutorials and user articles are, but this is all here. Dictionary is going to have all of the terms you need. Most of you guys will know those. User tutorials. Click that. You'll see a lot of stuff from Mizik in here. But obviously, her new stuff is quite good and replaces her old stuff for the most part. User articles. That one, I don't know the difference between user tutorials and user articles. But look at this right here. Super important thing. Acronym list. An overview of all lucid induction methods. Brainwave entertainment for lucid dreams, for those of you binaural beats fans. Confidence and dream feeling induced lucid dream. Dial, dream flying tutorial, dream recall tutorial, dream reentry tutorial, dream related book list, ending a dry spell, focus attention technique, hypnosis induced lucid dream, right? These are all here. These are really cool. Increasing dream realism. It's cool stuff. Introduction to lucid dreaming, experience checklist. Ooh, actually, let's check that one out. I don't know if I've seen that. Sleeping disorders, reality checks, all of these things. 5 phases of wild, the guide to end all wilds, right? Have you ever run into things to try and ever run out of things? Oh my. All right. Let's see how many of these I've done. Flying? Yes. Turning on lights? Yes. Creating objects? Obviously. Works best if outside your field of vision. It's also okay to do it inside your field of vision. So flying into outer space, in between skyscrapers, alongside balls of light, climb Mount Everest. I haven't done climb Mount Everest. Swing from a tree? Yes. You're Lassie and you don't give a damn anymore. I've not done that. Haven't crossed the wall of China. You're one of the terrorists that hijacked the plane on 9/11, but the city of a change of heart and bring it. Yeah, I haven't done that. That's weird. Some of these are a little interesting. Encountering aliens? Yes. Fight with cool weapons? Yes. Become evil Superman? I mean, I've done things similar, but nah. Kill a munchkin? No. Skipper? Or, oh my gosh. That is weird. Some of these are a little weird. Do stand-up comedy, terrorize a mascot at a large sporting event, slap President Bush, slap a mime. Man, this is weird stuff. I've never seen this before. But yeah, so there's just a million things to check out on DreamViews. I highly recommend it if you find yourself spending countless hours on Discord hoping for an interesting conversation to pop up. Just come check out DreamViews, right? Just like read this while you're going through things. Read manga like Siren. Yeah, stuff like that I would highly recommend. So that's what, let's see, what was it, user tutorials look like. Let's check out the other thing, user articles. User articles, I don't know if these are more or less. See you later, Zedby. I'll be ending it soon, so you're not going to miss much. All you need to know about dream guides. That's pretty cool. 5 layers of lucidity. That's something that people cared about a lot, and I actually say it's a good thing for you to learn, even if you don't agree with it. Tutorial for saying a mantra, whatever you want to say. Super good idea. Lucid Living tutorial by Joanna B. Awesome wild technique. Wild progression outline by Mizik. Have you guys ever even heard of that? Sleep paralysis demystified. 2 easy ways to lucid dream. Spells for lucid dreaming. Stuff like that. Just helpful stuff all around. There's not that many of these. Archetype Control, an elegant tool by Mizik. I told you there's a lot of stuff by Mizik on here. The girl writes a lot. I don't know what to say. Unifying Theory of Dream Control by Mizik. I actually like her new dream control stuff better. It's more well thought out over a longer period of time. So this has been just kind of an overview of what's on DreamViews. We may talk about LD for All or Mortal Mists in the future. They're a little smaller. LD for All, it's not smaller. It's just weird to go around. Obviously, it's just because I wasn't on it as much. But yeah, what the heck? Which is yeah. But I recommend checking it out, checking out the old forums, reading books. Obviously, if you're new to lucid dreaming, I would recommend reading Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming before you go on giant tangents, reading all of the guides and articles on DreamViews. But I think that it shows a lot of commitment, at least like, I don't want to say to your mind because it makes it sound like you're trying to convince your mind to lucid dream, but it shows your mind that you're interested in it a little bit more so that your mind keeps dreaming on the mind. And if dreaming's on your mind, then the idea of dreams can easily slip into your dreams a lot more than just sitting around and chatting with people that lucid dream about things that aren't even lucid dreaming related. That being said, you know, it's probably not a bad idea to be on Discord every once in a while. Yeah, I think that's all we have for today. Went a little bit long. Next week, I'm going to be trying 2 streams again. I'm enjoying streaming. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Let me know if you guys have any idea what you want it to be about. I'm thinking about just doing a mild one. Actually talking about mild, tips for mild, questions for mild, and trying to get you guys to basically invite anyone that that's struggling to mild. Try to get more and more people involved in this because I think that the community as a whole, I like the fact that we're like together, we're learning things, and yeah, I think that it can help grow us, make us a more, what do you want to call it, unified. And with being more unified, I think it'll make it a lot easier for people to stay consistent with lucid dreaming. So I'll talk to you guys later. Good night. Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock for me. No, it's 2 o'clock, 2:15. So I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you have a good day and a good night.